What's going on, guys? The Fed raises interest rates half a point to highest level in 15 years. This is crazy because this is, as you might recall, if you're old enough, that was preceding the last major crisis we had, the Great Financial Crisis in 2007, 2008, 2009. So we are in not uncharted territory, but we are back in familiar territory here. So congrats, Jay Powell. Congrats, Janet Yellen. Congrats, Mary Daly. The guy who says we can print currency into oblivion. I forget his name on one of the Fed governor, board of governors, FOMC. Congrats, guys. This is beautiful stuff, and you are, you've painted us into this corner. You painted yourself into this corner, and you have no way to get out. And that's why many of us have chosen to become our own central bank. So just memo to you and to yours. We are opting on the system because you keep destroying it, and you are on the sinking Titanic. You are on the fiat legacy system ship that's just going down, sinking into the abyss, and we have jumped out. We're into the life raft over here. We have Bitcoin. It's completely out of the system. We know the monetary supply, the issuance rate. It doesn't change, and it just keeps having every 4 years deflationary money, and it's beautiful. And we get to live our life over here with our own thing, and you guys can live in fiat world burning down on itself, and people storming palaces in Sri Lanka, and the UK pound collapsing, and just beautiful stuff. This precedes, like we said, highest in 15 years, the Fed funds rate, the overnight borrowing rate. So kudos to you guys. And then subsequently, we have all the videos we've been doing about all the forecasting, all the layoffs that have happened, and all the forecasting from all the big banks and all the asset managers saying that 2023 is going to be crazy ridiculous. And then I love it here. There's going to be rates going to be higher with no reductions until 2024. I mean, where have we heard that before? And these people can't even tell the truth from a day-to-day basis, a minute-to-minute basis, let alone what you're going to do a year from now. Come on, Jay, you're the one in 2022 or 2021 saying it's transitory, saying there's nothing to see here, saying things have peaked, and just being wrong the entire time. So again, I want to remind you watching this that the alternative media sources. I mean, you have CNBC and these quacks come out here and say you got to be careful for alternative sources and YouTubers and other financial people that aren't the selected command and control puppet narrative dwellers. Then don't pay attention to those people. Don't pay attention to people giving you alternative narrative and something else to think about and using your mind. Actually, just listen to what we're telling you. Don't worry. Pat you on the head. You're a good little boy, little girl. Just pass out the behind through inflation. Nothing to see here. We're going to financially repress everybody. As we know, Ben Bernanke told us why there cannot be deflation here in 2002 in his paper. And then 2012, the IMF saying this is how we do financial repression. This is how we get rid of the government debt. They're not in it for us. Newsflash. Question everything with boldness. If governments were there to do what's good for you, then ask us, why are things so insanely crazy around the world? That makes zero sense, right? The private sector, private people, entrepreneurs, employees, people in that private world are the ones providing value, goods, and services to other people. That is how the world works. That's how capitalism works. That's how free markets work. That's how liberty works. That's how property, the pursuit of happiness works. We are so backwards. If you, I'm not going to go into the amount of public sector workers there are now, and as Mike Maloney often puts, and many people, these people are making cash out of the taxes we're paying. So it's an electrical outlet plugged into itself. It's an electrical strip plugged into itself. We have to expand the economy. We have to actually provide goods and services. If entrepreneurs are here, and government and businesses and true businesses and employees are here to provide value and do more for less, provide better goods and services, raising the standards of living. This is not going to do it by following these clowns around that are reactionary, reacting to what's going on. They are constantly chasing their tail, and anyone that even remotely gives this any credence it's just laughable. It's absolutely laughable, and you have to take it for what it is at the end of the day, right? And the big thing, though, at the end of the day, is you could fix this. Like I said, if governments were here to really do what's in the best interest of the people, they wouldn't have inflation. They wouldn't be stealing from you by 2% each year. That's a literal theft, stealing from you 2% each year. And there's a lot of monetary macro guys, and there's a lot of people out there that they fight. They want that. They call themselves Austrians. They call themselves whatever, and they still oh yeah, well, we need inflation, and we need this credit-based system to expand the economy. Well, if it hasn't worked and it's continually crashing, why would we continue doing the same thing over and over again? And again, you can you can fool life and people, you can fool nature for a little while. Like, whether it's a year or a month or a day or 10 years or a couple of decades, you can fool things, you can fool people for a while, but eventually nature swings back and crushes you. As Ayn Rand astutely put, you can ignore reality. However, you cannot ignore the consequences of reality. That always comes to get you. Nature's law always is out there lurking and will set you straight if and when you stray too far and for how long you do it. That is for sure. Nature's laws are perfect. As Dr. Werner von Braun said, we can time the moon landing within a fraction of a second. That's because nature's laws are perfect. They're perfect. So we have to understand what is going on. That way we can combat against it. We can become independent. We can become resilient. And again, the whole point of this channel, like we always say, is to, if you like this channel, again, please like it, subscribe, share it with people that you think might get something out of this. But we are here to ask questions, to question the narrative and that's being puppeted to us and just blasted to us all the time. Question everything with boldness, even the existence of God himself. For if there is a God, surely he would respect research and diligence and over blindfolded fear. Of course he would respect actual diligence and research and learning and study over blindfolded fear. We have to continue doing that. And at the end of the day, if we wanted to, like I said, if governments and the alphabet soup agencies really wanted to help the average person, they would get off our backs. They would ease taxation and regulation and red tape and bureaucracy instead of hounding us. That is a simple concept. It's economics 101. And if they wanted to get inflation down, as Greg Manarino says, wouldn't you just contract the currency supply by raising the reserve requirements? Right now, banks have a zero reserve requirement. So in March of 2020, when things were going down, they lowered the reserve requirements to zero, meaning you go to the bank, they have zero of your dollars in reserve. So go right now, try to take out $1,000, $5,000, $10,000, $100,000. They're not going to have it. They've lent it all out. Meaning, if they come, there's a bank run, they'll just print that currency into existence because they don't have it. Because it's worth nothing, I guess, at the end of the day. So I guess why have it? Not backed by anything. So they'll just print it, digits into a computer, and that's why they look at you with cross-eyed if you try to take cash out. Because they're like, we don't have any cash. What are you talking about? Like, do you make an appointment? And I'll go screw with people and go do that and tell them hey, I want 10,000 out or whatever, and they're just like, what? Do you have an appointment? So they'll just type digits in a computer, and then we'll all pay through inflation. They just create the currency out of nowhere, whether it's through fractional reserve lending or whatever it is, or hey, we don't have it or whatever we're going to do, and just digits in a computer. You're trying to take stuff out. They'll just print it up, and we all pay for it. That is the game being played on all of us. At this point, it should be so evidently clear. The Fed's balance sheet is over 10 times what it was. It was 800 billion 12 years ago, 13, 14 years ago. Now it's 9 trillion, 8 to 10 trillion, somewhere in there. It's 10 times what it was. That is from them buying bonds out of the market, easing our currency by buying bonds out of the market away from you and I. So driving the price up away from you and I, yields down to make it cheaper. So that way, corporations, they can keep rolling over their debt. The zombie company is going, basically just giving the green light, too big to fail, giving the green light to bad decision making, saying, well, you know what, you made bad decisions and you can't service your debt, but hey, keep rolling it over to cheaper interest rates. It's clown world, absolute clown world. I don't even have anything else. Again, it's news today. That's why we have to share it. And it's we are living in clown world. We're living in absolute clown world, and this is why Bitcoiners constantly say Bitcoin fixes this. It fixes this. It makes you sovereign, like we say at the end of the day as well. And me and here on this channel, get independent, get resilient. Bitcoin, gold, silver, food, energy, water, security, housing, land. This is not financial advice. It's freedom advice. Become a sovereign individual. Become a hard individual. Become uncancelable. Become a person of resilience. That way you can then withstand whatever's coming our way, no matter if it's from cronies, no matter whether it's from Mother Nature, whatever it is, enemies around the world, it doesn't matter. Then you can go help other people when you are taken care of and you are good. So again, we could easily do this. If governments wanted to do this, we could easily just start increasing the reserves banks have, and money would just start getting sucked up into the banking system, and you'd have inflation start just slowing down. Again, it seems like common sense. Greg Manarino talks about this all the time. But again, we're not going to do common sense things because the system isn't built on common sense. It's not built on truth. It's not built on reality. And that's why there are so many people out here, more and more every day, starting blogs, starting YouTube channels, starting things, alternative sources to start talking truth, start talking reality, start questioning the mainstream narrative. Because the mainstream narrative has only got us so far. I've talked to countless people that are in their 70s and up who said, you know what, Brandon, I mean, we just believed Walter Cronkite. We just believed that he wouldn't tell us a lie. How could he do that to us? You know, we just believed him for decades that, you know, he came on there and just gave us the news. And you know what? Maybe that happened a little bit more back in the day. But, like, let's be honest. You know, the media is really largely always been there, thanks to Woodrow Wilson, especially 100 years ago, to get in bed with media. The government got in bed with media then. He started the White House press dinner and all that stuff to get in bed so they could collude together and they could become friends and buddies and have the revolving door. And then just sprayed the narrative on whatever ears are going to take it and gobble it up. This is why, again, at the end of the day, please, governments always attract people that want power over other people. That's all they do. And this is why the Founding Fathers gave us a system of government that we have. Because they knew we needed to limit government because people that want power, that don't have your best intentions, are the ones that seek government positions. When government gets too big, it gets too powerful, it seeks even more people, I'm not going to say any words, but it seeks even more people that want more power and can do bad things. But when government is tamed and it's restricted and it's limited, it disincentivizes people from being in the government that want control over people. It actually incentivizes better people to be in government. Say, you know what, I'm just going to come do my service like a George Washington who comes in, serves his 8 years, and he's like, I'm gone. I'm not a king. Why would you want to make me a king? Besides that, I don't even have any power to do any of that type of stuff because we gave ourselves a very limited government. So he's like, I come in, I do my service for a term or two, and I'm gone. We will learn our lessons. This thing I can promise you. I can't promise you a lot. The one thing I can promise you is that nature's law will always win. It will win at the end of the day in the long term, and we will learn our lessons. I don't know when. I don't know how, but we will learn our lessons. I'm hoping and praying, and one of the reasons we're here is so that we don't have to learn these lessons the hard way. We can put the energy, the work, the time in now to study what we need to do, to experience what we need to experience, to learn what we need to learn, so we don't have to go through HE double hockey sticks. That's what I am fearing. I have a family. I have kids. I have friends. I have people everywhere that I don't want to hurt. I don't want any of us to hurt. I don't want us to burn. We have all the lessons of the past. We have the manuals. We've got the books about the Roman Empire, about Marxism, the Communist Manifesto, and what they're trying to do. We have all these things. We have what the World Economic Forum's doing. We got their books over here. We got the Great Narrative. We've got the Great Reset. We have everything. It's at our disposal. It's there. They're telling us what they want to do, and they're telling exactly what they're going to do. They're telegraphing it. They have to tell us. How many are going to heed the lessons of history? I appreciate your time and energy. It's the most important thing we have. I appreciate you listening to my rants so I don't go crazy. Please like and subscribe to this if you like it. If you don't, please dislike it. Let us know what you don't like and what we can do better, and we can battle out in the comments. And appreciate your time and your energy. It's the most important asset we have. I don't know anything finite other than Bitcoin, so please make smart decisions about what you're trading your time for. If you're doing something, what are you trading your time for? Again, this is not financial advice. It's freedom advice. See you on the next one.